to a must-win for both teams. With that, hello and welcome to one of the great venues in the game, Arrowhead. Laura Galindo here with Fozzie Whitaker. Unfortunately, last-moment scheduling conflict. Taylor Swift will not be able to join us on the sideline, but guess who will? Shane Sparks, and we'll get to Shane in just a bit. But Fozzie, I don't know if there's a better way to sum up the job that Lance Leipold has done with this Kansas program than saying this. It's actually a big deal that they're off to a 1-3 start. However, they clean up turnovers, maybe they're undefeated. Now, for Sonny Dykes and TCU, they dropped to 7-10. Since reaching the national championship game, they dropped 2 in a row. Both teams feel like they are close. What's the story here?
Well, just like my lapel pin, Finding Nemo, both of these teams are trying to find their first win in Big 12 conference play. And for TCU, it all starts with Josh Hoover. Josh Hoover, just like Dory, is one of the ones that wants to forget what happened a week ago against SMU. Now, what Dory always says is just keep swimming. Josh Hoover has done that week in and week out. 11 touchdown passes, 2 interceptions. This offense has looked spectacular, averaging over 38 points per game. And that is what TCU has to rely on to get back into that win column. Now on the other side, Kansas Jayhawks, right? Just like my Nemo reference, that's Marlin, right? The old head, the one that has done it before, but got to make sure he goes back to finding his rhythm and groove to what he's been used to. Turnovers have been the bugaboo, but at the end of the day, Jalen Daniels is a spectacular player, and the guy that he is handing the ball off to, that is Crush, right? Dude, got to be able to get it to him because he's been one of the most prolific runners for this Kansas offense. He already averages over 100 yards per game, and they go as he goes. Watch out for Devin Neal today, have a big game against TCU.
Lance Leipold, the Kansas Jayhawks won the toss, but they have elected to defer to the second half. So that means we will see Josh Hoover. Is that Dory? I forgot already.
Josh Hoover is Dory.
Okay.
Just keep swimming.
Hey, and we see Sonny Dykes, the AP National Coach of the Year in 2022. Good to see him on the sidelines. He was ejected early in the second half of the loss last week against his former program, SMU, after back-to-back unsportsmanlike conduct penalties. He apologized, said he's got to be better than that. We'll see which one of these programs is ready to bounce back. Here's Jordan Bailey, who was the guy that really sparked that meltdown for TCU when he had the return called back to start the third quarter, which set off Sonny Dykes. Now, we talked to Kendall Briles, the TCU offensive coordinator, this week, and he told us, look, we know we're not good running the football, so we're not going to do something we're not good at. Expect a lot of Josh Hoover. Fozzie averaging 353 yards passing over the past 8 games.
Yeah, Josh Hoover has been absolutely dynamic and electric for this offense. The reason why TCU has the 2 wins is because his performance, and that's what's giving them this position right now.
Cam Cook, the starting tailback. TCU does not have a run this season longer than 20 yards. And that is Savion Williams with the first touch. Ultra-athletic freak, if you will. He's able to pick up about 5.
And see a little misdirection to start the game off. Obviously, the expectation is going to be able to get the ball to Savion Williams. He's one of their big dynamic playmakers. And Josh Hoover already getting the play started, 3 yards on that first down play.
Looking to get creative and try to start the ground game. There's a quick toss to J.P. Richardson out on the perimeter and was trying to get by Kobe Bryant, who's like glue if you are a receiver.
Yeah, Kobe Bryant is one of the most prolific players in college football. Him and the duo with Mello Dotson, be on the lookout for them today.
Third down, a little tush-push. It works. Josh Hoover moves the chains. First down, TCU, and that was the tight end, Drake Dabney, there to help Hoover get that distance.
That's one way to get the run game started. You see, obviously they start off with some misdirection, the pitch to Savion Williams. Now you pick up a first down. Keep the chains moving is the main game that Kendall Briles wants to be able to maintain throughout this game.
Pretty conservative approach for a team that will stretch the field. Hoover will throw, and there he is, stretching it. Great hands on the sideline by Jack Besh. Incomplete, however. Lost control going to the ground.
Yeah, the ball slightly thrown a little bit wider. The wind has been a factor earlier in pregame warmups. Just a little outstretch of Jack Bech's hands. That's something that we got to be on the lookout for, but Jack Bech has been one of the best players for this TCU offense.
Quick screen. They're trying to cut it off. Is Bech. O.J. Burrows is there with the stop. 9-yard pickup.
Again, you see, they want to get the ball to Jack Bech. Drake Dabney does a great job of being able to get the first defender, get the play started. Jack Bech picks up a big gain, sets them up 3rd and 1.
An engaged crowd inside Arrowhead, dominated by Kansas fans. First game here for the Jayhawks since 2011 against Mizzou. And that is the spinning Cam Cook picking up the first down. 4 yards for the sophomore from Round Rock, Texas.
Second first down picked up on the ground. Obviously, you see Coach Browse, Sonny Dykes, they want to emphasize that run game a little bit more to be of help to what Josh Hoover has been able to do, especially through the air.
Richardson in motion, and it's going to be another carry to Cook. Picks up a block on the left side. Ball is out. Kansas says, we got it, and they do. Dylan Woodkey scoops it up. Jayhawks in business.
It's a great job right here by this Kansas defense. Cam Cook has some space. You see him fire low, puts the hat right on the ball. Whenever the ball gets jarred loose, then flying to the ball gives you good results, and that's what you see here from that Kansas defense. Ball does look like it is moving out. Right place at the right time. That Kansas defense finds a big stop in a big way on that opening drive.
And how about it? It's Kobe Bryant, usually known as the ball hawk with the interceptions in the secondary. He's the guy that forces the football from Cam Cook.
This play probably will go under review.
Do not have a stoppage yet.
But to your point, Kobe Bryant has been all over the field. That's one person you don't want to tempt the ball with, whether it's in the air or in the ground game as well now.
Can Jalen Daniels clean up the turnovers? That's the big question. Second in the FBS with 9. 7 picks, 2 fumbles. There's Jared Casey on the flat. And Casey keeps fighting his way up to the 45-yard line. Give him 9. But we know what's about to happen. Both sides understand that Kansas is going to try to flex their muscles. One of the best rushing offenses in college football with Devin Neal. TCU is going to try to sell out to stop them because they've struggled against the run.
That's exactly why you saw that play-action play right there. We know what Kansas wants to do. TCU knows as well. That's why you get a big gain on first down to start off their first offensive possession.
First carry for Neal. The shake almost into the open field, but Jamel Johnson saved a touchdown.
Yeah, Devin Neal is so dynamic and explosive. Check this out. His patience sets up the blocks, and then he just explodes through the hole. This is what he's been doing his entire career at Kansas. That's why he's one of the great ones at the running back position.
And he's been the workhorse. 50 carries over the past 2 games for this Kansas offense. Empty for Daniels. Looking to his right, one-on-one coverage. A clear hold, but no flag. And there it comes as Travis Broughton was holding on to Lawrence Arnold for dear life.
Here's what's key in that empty formation. You see the one-on-one opportunity. Arnold does a great job of having late hands so that as you see the pass interference is called, the defender doesn't know when the ball is in the air. So Arnold does a great job having those late hands. Allow this Kansas offense to pick up a big chunk yardage on that pass interference.
So Jayhawks now set up inside the 20. This team belongs to Jalen Daniels, even despite the slow start. And there is Devin Neal going to the left side for a few yards. What makes Devin Neal such a good running back?
Yeah, he's one of the very patient runners. I actually compare his game very similar to what Breece Hall was whenever Breece Hall was a part of the Iowa State ball club. And this is something that you don't see in today's time, is having that patience to be able to see the hole, set up your blocks, and then the explosiveness that Devin Neal brings to the table. Whenever the hole opens up, he hits it full speed.
Play action. Daniels throwing on the run. He loves this. It's initially a touchdown, but did he step out of bounds? Luke Grimm has 6. His 4th touchdown catch of the year.
This is what happens when Jalen Daniels is on his game. They come back to the very first play of the game. They have the play action. Luke Grimm was actually open on that very first play. He checks it down to Jared Casey. What a great job staying in bounds. He checks it down to Jared Casey. Guess what? Coach saw that up top, Jeff Grimes. He said, let's call it again. Get the touchdown. What an awesome execution right there by Jalen Daniels and this Kansas Jayhawk offense.
And that is the 21st touchdown of Luke Grimm's career.
Previous play, the touchdown is under further review.
So this is what I was talking about in real time. Does Grimm's right foot touch out of bounds before he makes the catch?
Yeah, here's our look right here. And it's very, very close right before he turns and pivots. That's what we're going to look at as the catch is good.
I think they're looking at right before the catch. I think what we need to see is where his foot is near the pylon.
Yeah, we're having a tough time seeing it, and you can't really tell from the looks that we have at the moment. But I want to talk about the ball control that Luke Grimm, he showed off right there. That's not an easy play to be able to make the back shoulder throw. It makes it really, really interesting to see what happens right before he makes the catch.
So I think this is the issue. Right here is the right foot in, and from that angle, it looks like it is. Because that clearly is a catch.
There it is. I think this call is going to stand. That looks like a catch. His foot looks like it stayed in bounds.
After review, ruling on the field stands. Touchdown.
What a moment for Luke Grimm, one of 16 players for this Jayhawks team from the KC metro area. And he's closing in on Desmond Briscoe for the most touchdown catches in program history. So hold that thought. We got the extra point. And the Jayhawks will try to knock this through. And Tabor Allen. And there it is, a 7-0 lead by the Jayhawks. Luke Grimm set up by the Kobe Bryant forced fumble. Jayhawks looking good. This will make the Jayhawks fan base feel a lot better. A 7-0 lead for Kansas. Let's check in with Shane Sparks. Great atmosphere today, Shane.
It's a phenomenal atmosphere, of course. The ongoing renovations at David Booth Memorial Stadium. Kansas is playing all of its home games this season here in Kansas City. Today, the first of their 4 remaining home games, all to be played here at Arrowhead. As you mentioned, Lo, first time since 2011. But it's a great crowd. It is family weekend, expecting about 8,000 students. 1,000 of those were busting earlier today, making the hour trek from Lawrence. Weather is great, but Fozzie, as you said, here at Arrowhead, it's always about those swirling winds. Good start for the Jayhawks.
Jay, thank you so much. Jordan Bailey take this from right inside the end zone. Full head of steam. It is brought down. There is a flag down inside the 15 on the far side of the field.
Typically, whenever you get a flag on special teams, it's either holding or blocking the back. I'll probably say this one is going to be a holding call, the way the officials are kind of huddling up, talking about it.
Shea did a great job of describing the atmosphere here and the dedication of the Kansas fans with the trek that they have to make.
During the return, illegal block in the back, number 18, receiving team. That penalty will be enforced half the distance to the goal. First down, TCU.
Leipold said this week, we appreciate our fan support and they are needed as much as ever to make a difference. If they aren't disappointed or upset, they wouldn't be a fan. He truly gets the disappointment surrounding this team when they were picked 4th in the Big 12 preseason poll with so many expectations.
Absolutely. The expectations have not been living up to where they thought their standard would be. But so far in this game, they're setting the expectations properly with 7-0 lead right now in the first quarter.
Yeah, the pass 1-3 off the jump for Kansas, not a big deal. No one's talking about it. Everything has changed. Hoover with a dart to Savion Williams, and Savion north of the 30. He is big, he is physical, he is fast, and that's 24 yards, Fozzie.
Yeah, here's the opportunity. RPO is what TCU likes to major in. Whenever you have one-on-one opportunities to be able to exploit a zone, Savion Williams would absolutely do that, and that's where Josh Hoover has been cooking all season long.
24 yards on that catch, just shy of a season long of 26. And how about it threading the needle to J.P. Richardson?
Again, here's J.P. Richardson one-on-one. Get an opportunity to take the inside short post. Josh Hoover, he's been accurate in that mid-range all season.
Back to the ground. Cook, 2 hands on the football this time. 4-yard pickup on first down. Are you surprised at all by how much TCU is trying to establish the run early?
I'm not surprised because that's an area of emphasis they want to emphasize on, so they got to be able to work on it at some point in time.
Cook will try to stretch it to the right side. It's a solid block and a first down. DJ Rogers, the tight end, was able to spring Cook on that.
And here you go right here. You got misdirection. It looks like you're about to run quarterback sweep to the left. They hand it off to Cam Cook to the right. Cam Cook has enough speed, hits the edge, picks up a first down, and those are ways that TCU is supplementing the way the run game traditionally would work by creating some misdirection opportunities.
Great point. Dominic Johnson, the former Arkansas Razorback, now checks in. He's got the longest run of the season for the Frogs at 20 yards. And there's picked out of the air, Jake Besh. Jack Besh to the house. And that is touchdown number 5, 35 yards, and Besh is one of the surprise players in college football this season.
Yeah, nobody probably expected Jack to have a type of season that he's having. And here he is, right, third guy in, one-on-one. O.J. Burroughs had an opportunity to make a play. He just cannot. And you can see the emphasis that TCU offense has right here. Stay away from number 2, stay away from number 3, but everything on the inside is fair game, as Josh Hoover does a phenomenal job leading them to a score.
5 plays, 92 yards, and 147. The ground game setting up Jack Besh to find the end zone.
There he is. All day long, Josh Hoover will take that. He's been very successful finding his number 1 target, Jack Besh, as they tie up the score 7-7.
If I was to describe this sandwich in one word, I would say magical. Hi, this is Jamor, and the little thing that I love about the
offensive coordinator Kendall Briles going through the footage with his standout sophomore quarterback Josh Hoover. They just went nearly the length of the field, and it was Hoover and Besh to cap that drive.
Yeah, absolutely. This matchup has been dynamic all season long. Jack Besh coming off of his best game of the season, 8 catches, 166 yards, and 2 touchdowns against SMU a week ago. They picked up right where they left off, already striking early in this football game.
Besh came into this game 4th in the FBS with 516 receiving yards, but only 32 targets, which is a fraction of the other guys that are the elite returning leaders coming into this game. That's going to be Trevor Wilson with the return. He's got a seam. Wilson with some giddy up to the 28-yard line. All right, what did you see from the Jayhawks last time out?
Yeah, after the turnover, you see the big opportunity. They fake it right here, or I'm sorry, Kobe Bryant comes in, showcases why he's one of the most dynamic defensive guys. You see, they had an opportunity on the very first offensive play for Kansas to hit Luke Grimm. It was a missed opportunity, but guess what? Devin Neal still is that guy. Showcases why he's a special back. They come back to that very first play, and then Luke Grimm with the sweet feet, able to keep his feet in bounds and puts up 7 for the Kansas Jayhawks.
And there is Grimm in motion, the man that had that initial touchdown, keeping it on the ground to Devin Neal. And an authoritative stop by Jamel Johnson. Hornfrogs defense fired up there. Sophomore from Arlington, Texas. Jamel Johnson already with more tackles than he had all of last season as a true freshman for this Horned Frogs defense, with a new defensive coordinator, former Boise head coach Andy Avalos. Daniels, quick strike, but dropped. It was in the hands of Lawrence Arnold and just lost it.
It's a rare drop right there. Ball thrown right on the money, right at the face mask. He just takes his eyes off of it a little too soon, trying to turn up and make a move. But you got to catch the ball first, young man. It sets up a 3rd and 9 opportunity now for the Kansas Jayhawks.
So this is one of the biggest difference in Daniels' game this season. Previous 3 years, he was the #1 quarterback in the nation in QBR on 3rd down. This season, 88th in the FBS. A 3rd and 9 certainly does not help. Daniels, quick feet on the run. That's going to be first down yardage for the fleet of foot, Jalen Daniels. 11 yards, but there is a flag.
After the play is over, personal foul, unnecessary roughness, late hit, number 11. Defense, 15-yard penalty will be added to the end of the run. First down, Kansas.
Yeah, here's where Jalen Daniels can be absolutely dynamic with his legs, being able to make something happen. And then the late hit, you just can't do that if you're TCU. But you see him making guys miss, and then boom, just too much. At the end of that play, it gives an additional 15 yards. That's something that Deal's going to have to go talk with defensive coordinator to make sure that doesn't happen.
Two-lane transfer, Devin Deal. Man, they got options at running back. Daniel Highshaw, known as the power back, but showing some jitterbug moves there.
Yeah, this is the best 1-2 punch, in my opinion, within the Big 12 Conference. And you see, counter play, both offensive linemen get their guys, open up the A gap. Daniel Highshaw does a great job of reading it with patience, and then whenever he's getting to contact, he's very physical finishing that run.
Highshaw remains in at tailback. A lot of pre-snap movement from this Kansas offense. And a shot to the end zone. Quentin Skinner is trying to moss a man. They're not able to pull it down as Marion James was there in coverage.
Well, I thought TCU may have gotten away with one, and see hands on early. Doesn't even turn around to find the ball. Jalen Daniels tries to give his guy Quentin Skinner the opportunity to go up and get it. I think that's a missed call right there. That should be defensive pass interference.
Your thoughts, Lance Leipold? Daniels, speed option. And the give to Luke Grimm. Tracked down by Torrey Loughlin, excuse me, with the carry.
For TCU's defense, they have to defend so much from this Kansas offense. This Kansas offense is very multiple, right? You're going to see misdirection. You're going to see shifts. You're going to see motions. Now you got to defend the speed option. There's so many different cues that this defense is trying to pin on to be able to get a read on what Kansas wants to do.
Change the picture to right before the snap. Highshaw, left side, the cutback. How about a stiff arm? Brought down at the 15-yard line by Abe Kamara. Highshaw just getting warm.
That was beautiful execution right there. It's 3rd and long. You're expecting them to run A pass play. Highshaw says, no need. Keep it on the ground. I'm going to show you exactly why. I'm a 1-2 punch with Devin Neal. They pick up the first down and then some to put them in the red zone, threatening for another score.
Jake Casey to Daniels right. Back to Highshaw. Why not tripped up? Fantastic tackle by Jamel Johnson. That's a couple times now we've seen him maybe save some points.
Yeah, Jamel Johnson, he is the lifesaver for this TCU defense so far. As you see the one-back pull, Highshaw just mistimes his jump, not able to escape the grasp of Jamel Johnson. And Jamel Johnson, he must have a lucky hand today because that hand has provided 2 touchdown saving tackles now on these last 2 drives.
Jayhawks have been sensational in the red zone. 15 drives on the season, now 12 touchdowns. Back to the ground and trying to stay up and fight forward is Devin Neal.
Kansas wants to run that rock. We see a little misdirection again. You got the counter play. You're pulling 2 of your tight ends. Devin Neal shows that patience that I talked about earlier before. Reads the A-gap, picks up a first down, and you're looking at Kansas knocking on the doorsteps of another touchdown.
Neal. No doubt. Jayhawks find pay dirt again. And Devin Neal comes up with his 37th career rushing touchdown. No active player has more than that man.
The real deal Neal, that's what he's been since he stepped foot on campus at Kansas. Does a great job being able to get behind his pass. The O-line fires out, creates an opportunity, and this is the best red zone offense in the country. Coming into the game 14 of 14 with 11 touchdowns. They just keep finding a way to make it happen.
71-yard drive, 425. And Tabor Allen makes this a 14-7 game. Now, this is the Big 12 that we grew up in. Offense all over the place. 2 drives for the Jayhawks, 2 touchdowns. Neal does it yet again.
To buy or not to buy? That is their question. And nobody knows shoppers better than Shopify.
A lot better.
Here's the last drive by TCU. Josh Hoover does a great job of concocting some offense for them. And they even got the run game started. Cam Cook picks up a big first down for them. But Josh Hoover is the point of emphasis, finding his guy Jack Bech one-on-one opportunity, and then Jack Bech shows to show you what he does whenever he has the ball in his hands, and they're able to put up 7 points in this game.
Hoover and the Horned Frogs came into this game with 19 passes of at least 20 yards. Only 4 teams had more. They have 3 of those big gainers through 2 drives. The latest from Jack Bech. Stan with Cam Cook on the ground, and he picks up 2. Shane.
Despite back-to-back losses, Coach Sonny Dykes told us this week the focus is on them, but they got to play winning football, got to beat themselves. They had the 5 turnovers last week, already 1 today, a couple of costly penalties, not the hope they were hoping for at TCU.
Both these coaches were essentially like, we just got to figure it out. Yeah. I don't know what else.
Good deal, Tony. I'll get ready for that
back shoulder, and they were looking for the transfer from Boise State, Eric McAllister. Kobe Bryant there in coverage. He's a bad dude, Fozzie.
Yeah, again, if you're going to try somebody one-on-one, I suggest do not go against number 2 or number 3, because they lead the country in interceptions as a duo and have been doing it at a high level for a long time.
Kobe Bryant and Mello Dotson, as good as it gets with a cornerback duo in college football. Here's McAllister in motion on a 3rd and 8. Hoover, 5 of 7. Looking downfield on the scramble. That is McAllister as he beats Dotson for the first down.
great job by this TCU offensive line picking up all the games and the stunts. See some man-to-man. You're trying to get the quarterback to hold on to the ball a little bit. Josh Hoover creates an opportunity and some space. First down pickup to Eric McAllister.
Another pass of 20 yards. Backside pressure. Hoover gets rocked. McAllister with a big boy catch against Kobe Bryant.
This TCU offense, they're finding their rhythm now. Kobe Bryant broke up that first pass. Josh Hoover says, okay, let's figure out something a little bit different. Now they're starting to get in rhythm what they like to do.
That was Dylan Woodkey with the hit for the Jayhawks defense. And Cam Cook continues to churn forward. So how would you describe what is a successful ground game for the Horned Frogs at this point?
Yeah, ultimately you want to stay ahead of the chains, right? Picking up 3-4 yards on the first down run, similar to that, it's kind of what you want to see. 2 yards won't get it done. Now you got to play behind the chains and typically put the ball in the air. But for TCU, that's what they are good at. That's their strength. But having a better run game obviously opens the playbook up more.
Richardson back to Cook, and Cook is popped by J.B. Brown. A senior from Hughes, Arkansas.
What a nice read here. You see the misdirection, the fake to J.P. Richardson, and then the toss right to Cam Cook. But J.B. Brown says, I see what you're doing. I'm staying right here. I'm going to deliver a blow, and he does just that.
Brown, one of the linebackers, having to fill in for Cornell Wheeler, team captain, who was hurt in the fourth quarter last week. Cook out of the backfield, upended. It's going to be marked shy of the first down as Kobe Bryant showing as versatile as you can want out of a cornerback.
Yeah, they come with the blitz, trying to isolate the cornerback in a zone drop. Kobe Bryant does exactly what he needs to do. A lot of people say cover corners. They like to cover, but guess what? Kobe Bryant also likes the physical attention.
The athletic true freshman, Haas Haney from Aledo, now checks in. Dominic Johnson, Jeremy Payne in the backfield with him. Going for it on fourth down, Haney. The physicality, pounding his way forward. Talking about an ESPN 300 true freshman ranked as the number 6 dual threat quarterback. Knows his role here, Fozzie.
Yeah, and this is set up by Jeremy Payne. Absolutely getting a pancake. True freshman as well. Both of those guys have a big future for what TCU's offense could look like moving forward.
TCU now 6 of 8 on fourth down conversions on the season, and Haney will stay in there. And it's a carry by Payne, and Payne nowhere to hide. It's J.B. Brown with another solid stop. TCU could take this to the second quarter if they'd like. As Josh Hoover checks back into the game. Jeremy Payne will stay in there as his tailback to his left. And it looks like we will take this to the second quarter.
That is the end of the first quarter. Timeout on the field.
TCU opened up with the football. Kobe Bryant caused the fumble, and the Jayhawks had scored on their 2 offensive possessions. It's all offense with a little D sprinkled in. 14-7. Kansas with the lead in Arrowhead.
You didn't start a business just to keep the lights on. You're here to sell more today than yesterday. You're here to win. Lucky for you, Shopify built the best converting checkout on the planet. Like the just one tapping, ridiculously fast acting, sky.
Moments ago, Shane Sparks with Sonny Dykes.
Coach Dykes, you talked about the importance of the offensive line and the defensive line. How do you assess the job they did in quarter one?
Well, Kansas has done a nice job moving the football. We got to do a better job stopping the run. Had the fumble earlier that hurt us. We just got to play football, not turn the football over. We've been able to drive it pretty consistently. We just had the turnover. So we've got to do a good job getting off the field on defense and keep doing what we're doing on offense.
Thanks for the time.
And JoJo Earl turns it up for the explosive before Jalen Dye brings him down 15 yards.
Yeah, again, the misdirection, ways to be able to get your run game started for TCU is sometimes adding in a little trickeration. You see JoJo Earl, transfer from Alabama, have a big splash play right there.
TCU, one of the most talented teams in the Big 12, with a lot of guys that have been in the ESPN 300, as that is a dime as Josh Hoover goes back to Earl. But one of those guys, Hoover, wasn't really on many radars, a 3-star recruit coming out of high school.
Yeah, well, he's showing you why guys have missed out on this opportunity. In the mid-range, he's been dead on accurate so far.
TCU trying to answer. Cook on the ground, and Cook does, sizzling into the end zone. And the Horned Frogs an extra point away from tying this one up.
What an impressive drive. Just overall, these teams going back and forth. Talked about the line of scrimmage. Sonny Dykes just said to Shane, that's where they want to continue to improve. Where you can see right there, the line of scrimmage was won, and it allowed Cook to be able to get in and score his first touchdown of the day. Cam Cook's been dynamic offensively.
This is Kyle Limmerman, freshman from South Lake Carroll. And that will tie us up at 14. Last time these teams met, it was a classic. It was 2022. And this is when game day was in Lawrence. Both teams undefeated in the top 25, and it really lived up to the hype. The only downside here, early on in this game in the first half, Jalen Daniels goes out with an injury. He missed more than a month after that. But then you did have Jason Bean come in and battle. Really, though, it comes down to this. Kansas could not stop that man, Quentin Johnson. He gets the touchdown from Max Duggan in the final couple of minutes. TCU wins this one 38-31. Obviously, they go all the way to the national championship game that season under that man, Sonny Dykes, in season number 1.
Yeah, what great way to start off your tenure as the TCU Horned Frogs head coach, taking them to the national championship. That game was one to remember. First time game day was in Lawrence, and it did not disappoint.
Also showed that Kansas, even coming up short, was legit. It was a real turnaround under Lance Leipold. They've got athletes that can make moves like this. Trevor Wilson to the 31. They do have a flag down.
They are popping down there. Oh, my goodness, Lord.
And it's not desperation, but it's urgency.
Yeah.
During the return, holding number 32, receiving team. 10-yard penalty, first down Kansas.
I mean, both these teams still in it with their goals coming into the season in Big 12 play. But if you lose your second Big 12 game, then you're really in trouble.
Yeah, just what I was talking about with the popping. Wrong number there. It appears it was actually number 96 on that hold. But you can see the physicality and the nature that they're playing with, and urgency is the correct word, right? Playing with something, making sure that what they do is intentional in every sense of the word.
2 drives, 2 touchdowns for Jalen Daniels and the Kansas offense. Keep it on the ground, but TCU is ready to play. That's really what Andy Avalos, defensive coordinator, wanted to see. He told us, we need to play the game on their side of the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, in the past few games, they haven't done that, giving up almost 178 yards per game on the ground. That's not something that you want to be excited for whenever you're going against one of the top rushing teams in the country. So seeing how TCU has bounced back from those last 2 drives to establish the line of scrimmage defensively is a positive sign.
Akeem Ajijalaya with the stop there. Transfer from Houston. 2nd and 9. Daniels pumps fake. Eludes pressure, going backwards. Throws it before he is sacked. How did he even get that off? Austin Jordan, the transfer from Texas, was in to harass Daniels.
Yeah, the blitz got there, the pressure there right on Daniels. That is not an advisable play that you want to have happen at the quarterback position, which has led to a lot of the interceptions whenever he tries to do a little too much at times. Ultimately, no harm, no foul on that play, but something that you got to be careful with, especially taking care of the football.
7 picks, second in the FBS, also has 2 lost fumbles, bringing his total turnover to 9, also second. And there is Devin Neal trying to join James Sims as the first player to go for 100 yards in 5 straight games since the great Sims.
Yeah, here's what's impressive. You got a hat on a hat by that offensive line. This is now the second time that Kansas has gotten into a 3rd and long situation, handed the ball off to their running back, and their running back has gotten the first down and then some yet again.
Neal and Highshaw, great 1-2 punch. They are to the offense what Dotson and Bryant are to that Kansas secondary. A million in motion, back to Neal. And Neal slipping his way forward for a pickup of 4. Consistent positive yardage on the ground for this Kansas team.
Well, you talked earlier about what you want to see have happen for TCU in the run game offensively to keep them on schedule. Well, a 4-yard run just like that for Kansas's offense is what you want to see. You stay ahead of the chains. Now you look at Jeff Grimes as having an opportunity to open up the playbook. They can take a shot here. They can go play action. He can call whatever he wants and still be in 3rd and manageable if it doesn't work out.
Daniels to his left will now throw it to the right side, looking back for Devin Neal. That's incomplete.
And this is what makes Kansas so hard to defend, is all the misdirection. You see the motion, see guys flying and flaring out, and then Devin Neal just sneaks behind you, slightly overthrown, but that's what I mentioned. You stay on schedule with the 3rd and 6 now as an opportunity. You still have every play open to you as an offensive coordinator, and even if you make some good yardage here, you can go forward on 4th down around midfield.
Well, you brought up the comment before. It's really like a triple option style attack, but just with a lot of modern wrinkles to it. Here's Daniels. And Daniels a little short. You know, Fozzie, in watching film, it really seems like Daniels is underthrowing a lot of the balls that he misses.
Yeah, and again, last year, didn't get the opportunity to play a full season as that ball is thrown a little short right there. Would have been a for sure first down. And I think the rust of not being able to play a full season last year may be playing a factor into how he's looked so far early on in this season.
Damon Graves is back to punt, sophomore from Australia. J.P. Richardson, son of the great Texas A&M Aggie Bucky Richardson, is back to return this punt. J.P. will give it a go from the 20. A little shake, trying to cut it, still fighting his way up to about the 30-yard line, 45-yard punt. TCU trying to take the lead. We've got the football when we return. Started it all. You had Jordan Bailey taking one to the house early in the 3rd quarter, but there was a penalty called it back. Sonny Dykes said he did not handle that first penalty well, but then says he didn't believe he deserved the second unsportsmanlike penalty flag, but that was it. You get 2, you're gone. So Sonny Dykes has apologized, says he's going to do a better job controlling himself on the sideline, but really summed it up saying that everything that could go wrong went wrong in that loss against SMU. But huge moment here for his TCU offense. Another creative way to get the ground game going. Savion Williams is trying to bounce off 2 Kansas defenders there. A pickup of 2.
Yeah, we've talked a lot about Kansas's misdirection, but TCU has had a ton of misdirection themselves. Doing the short little pass to Savion Williams. Savion Williams is a guy that they want to get the ball to. He hasn't gotten it enough, in my opinion, early on in the season. Continue to see him make some plays for this offense.
One of Bruce Feldman's freaks, 22.5 of the GPS, but you don't let him get going. That's Demarius McGee making the stop. You ever had a coach be ejected from a game before?
I have not, actually. Not in football. Not in football.
Have you ever been ejected from one of your son's flag football games?
I have not, but the coach has.
3rd and 3 for Josh Hoover, and that is on the money. Jack Besh moved those chains.
Jack Besh, he just finds the sweet spot in this zone. As you can see, you got Mello Dotson hanging out a little too deep. Linebackers haven't gotten over. Barry Hill trying to get there a little bit late. Josh Hoover carves you up right on that short mid-range game. Keeps the chains moving.
On pace to shatter Josh Dotson's program record of more than 1,300 receiving yards as DJ Withers is able to bring down Dominic Johnson. How does it work out with a guy like Besh, where he really comes out of nowhere? I mean, had a solid freshman year at LSU, but no one was putting him up on a list that would include Biletnikoff threats.
Yeah, hard work and having really good hands. Recipe for success as a receiver.
Big pitch to Richardson, went back to him. It does look like it was a forward pass, so incomplete, but that was doomed from the beginning. It was a fake pitch to Dominic Johnson.
Rolling on the field is an incomplete forward pass. In the immediate continuing action, the defense recovered the ball. It'll be 3rd down.
Then he goes back to Johnson, who wasn't even looking.
Yeah, the misdirection there, I'm not quite sure if they were on the same page, but ultimately, that's one that Coach Leipold is, hey, we need to review that. That might have been a lateral. That could have proved big for Kansas to be able to pick up another early turnover in this game.
He was pointing at the big screen here, and that's very close. But we'll play on. Hoover on 3rd down. Pressure. Flushed, but composed. Looking sideline. Last second throw. It's short of the sticks, but complete to Besh. And that is the 100th career catch for Jack Besh. More to come for him.
Yeah, Mello Dotson was all over that. You see Josh Hoover trying to find his go-to target several different times. He's not able to because of the way Mello Dotson was smothering him. It's still a great contested catch, but ultimately wasn't enough to pick up the 1st down.
So Trevor Wilson is back for the Jayhawks as TCU will punt it away. Ethan Craw will do the punting. It's a high, sum up the importance and the impact that it makes when you find the right fit for a head coach. And Lance Leipold, he was not on many radars going from D3 Wisconsin Whitewater, where they dominated, won all the titles, then went to Buffalo, had a 10-win season there for the Bulls, and showed up in Lawrence, and he's changed everything. He's changed the expectations. Now a 1-3 start is a big deal. It's something that raises alarms with the national media, the local media. But with the Gateway District project also up and coming, it shows the impact that Leipold has made on his program and university. And there's some nice moves into the open field for Daniel Highshaw before Jay Zolliver brings him down. And that's 11 yards for Highshaw.
Yeah, that sense of belief, we've been able to see it in the run game. Daniel Highshaw taking that counter play again for a big game, 11 yards, breaking tackles. That's what this Kansas offense is all about, is getting downhill and moving the rock.
And that's also what Leipold has brought to this Kansas program.
Yes.
They have an identity for the first time in a long time, really since Mark Mangino was the head coach. 7:45 left to go here in the 2nd quarter. Daniels has not been great with the arm, but when you have go-go gadget arms like that, Luke Grimm will make you look good.
Pass interference. Offense.
No.
15-yard penalty. Still 1st down.
Grimm is like, come on, man. I'm trying to help out my quarterback.
Yeah, it's a clear push-off by Luke Grimm. Here's the thing, though. A lot of times that doesn't get called. Usually it doesn't go on the offensive side, but it's so egregious that that referee said, yeah, I can't let you get away with that one.
And Channing Canada wasn't let the ref get away with that either. He was going to be all over that saying, come on, man.
Yeah, Sonny Dykes wasn't going to let that happen either.
No. So after the offensive PI on Luke Grin, it pushes us back to a 1st and 25. Daniels now 2 of 7. And solid run defense here by TCU. As Oliver makes a stop, only a 3-yard pickup. So now what does this do if you're Andy Avalos in this TCU defense? You got him behind the sticks. What's your approach?
Well, you got to keep everything in front, right? 22 yards, that's quite a lot of distance that you have to cover. You're looking at 2nd down. You're going to see some sort of maybe early screen, possibly even a draw play by the running backs, but something that's going to be quick underneath. TCU's defense have to keep it underneath.
Daniels, quick toss into space with Lawrence Arnold. And he was brought down by Canada, making a fine stop in the open field. 6-yard pickup. And that will still keep it at a 3rd and very long for Jaden Daniels.
Yeah, 3rd and long is 3rd and 9 is where they've been successful running the rock. I'm not quite sure Coach is going to dial up a run play on 3rd and 15, but
but
you never know.
If the issue for Jalen Daniels, though, has been turning the football over, maybe you do play it safe here.
That's true.
Daniels will throw, and that is a strike to Quentin Skinner, but it will be well short of the 1st down marker. 10-yard pickup. Punt team hustles on.
Yeah, as you see, nice quick throw. Hits it on the far side of the field. Skinner does a great job bringing it in. 4th and 6, probably a little too rich to go for it here midfield. But we're starting to see defenses come alive. That's 3 drives now, 2 for Kansas and 1 for TCU that have ended in punts.
Briggs gets the punt off, and this is Richardson retreating. And this will take a bounce to about the 16-yard line.
NHL events and so much more. That's hockey on ESPN+. Sign up today.
Lo Galindo here with Fozzie Whitaker and Shane Sparks, tied up at 14. Now this was trailing the last punt that we saw. It's Max Carroll and Jared Casey. Hey, just a little Roman Greco style wrestling, and the takedown, Jared Casey. He was selling it. That was Manu Ginobili back in the day. Give me a flag.
3-point takedown.
Really? Shane is all over it. Great wrestler back in his day. Probably liked that move. The game within the game. Taking the fight to each other here inside Arrowhead. First matchup for both teams. Head-to-head since 2022. And down goes Josh Hoover. J.B. Brown is there for the stop.
Yeah, well, we talked about the offensive showcase early on in the 1st quarter. Well, now it's turned into a defensive showdown. You see J.B. Brown have no issues going through 2 different blockers, hungry, finding a way to get to Josh Hoover on their first sack of the day.
2nd sack of the season for J.B. Brown. Again, no Cornell Wheeler, so he's got to step up the production. Cam Cook breaks out of 1 tackle, tripped up at the 10-yard line by Kobe Bryant. Great 2nd effort there, Fozzie.
Yeah, Woodkey, he read it well, had an opportunity to make a big play for that Kansas defense, but Cam Cook says, hey, I'm Houdini. I can get out of that. It puts them in a lot more 3rd and manageable than what it was.
Jayhawks fans getting loud inside Arrowhead. Hoover has time, letting it fly. Picked off! O.J. Burrows will not make it a house call, but it's to about the 5-yard line. First INT of the season for O.J.
Yeah, we talked about the defensive showdown. Well, these teams have answered the call. And here you see the one-on-one opportunity. J.P. Richardson gets free.
Moving down the field is an interception. 1st down, Kansas.
J.P. Richardson gets free, but Josh Hoover puts way too much air underneath, allows O.J. Burrows to come pick that ball off, and then he does his best impersonation of Daniel Highshaw and Devin Neal, trying to get that thing into the end zone. Sets up a big first down for the Kansas Jayhawks offense.
Second turnover by TCU. Kansas will try to turn it into points again. And here is the give. Highshaw showing some patience, but not going anywhere but backwards. Marcus Deal. And he will help make that stop.
Something that Sonny Dykes obviously wanted to clean up from last week against SMU in the Iron Skillet was the level of turnovers that they had.
Yeah. 5
in that game, and you're already in the first half here looking at 2, one on the interception and a fumble. It's not the recipe for success, but they still have an opportunity to make something of it.
Trevor Cardell in the backfield with Daniel Highshaw. Daniels to throw. Great break up there by Channing Canada. He was the one that was pushed by Luke Grimm for that offensive PI. And have the coverage on Skinner.
Yeah, the man-to-man coverage is right there. Woo. There was no separation, no room to throw that ball. Canada does a great job of staying right in stride. He has that hand on that back shoulder. They didn't call it earlier, so he has an opportunity to say, I'm going to play a little bit more aggressive. Take advantage of it, and a big stop right there by TCU's defense.
There was a little tug there, Fozzie.
There was. They didn't call it, so it didn't happen.
Daniels to throw again. Batted down, engulfed by Marcus Deal, the redshirt freshman out of El Paso, and that's how you bow up as a defense.
Yeah, this has been a huge opportunity for the defense to showcase who they truly are. After giving up 66 points a week ago, I'm sure they were challenged in a major way. You take the ball over for Kansas's offense inside the 10-yard line and you hold in the way that they did. That's a huge sudden change victory for this TCU defense.
Blocked 3 kicks a couple weeks ago against UCF. They have some magic here against Tabor Allen. Allen with the kick. And Tabor Allen will give his Kansas Jayhawks the 17-14 lead. But with everything considered, that's a win there for the TCU defense. It was 1st and goal at the 6-yard line.
Yeah, absolutely. That's huge for them to play the way that they have, considering what they did last week and how they've been able to show up. But ultimately, you look at what Lance Leipold has been able to do for this Kansas team, the belief and the will that they have. 2 turnovers early in the game, taking the lead 17-14. This offense has looked really good.
There are so many things to like about this Kansas team, and I know they've had the 3 straight fourth-quarter collapses, but it is the Lance Leipold effect. There's still belief around this program. Look what they did before he showed up. 29-115 from 09 to 2020. Then he gets there, they win 2 games. That's still a step in the right direction in 2021. They beat Texas in overtime as well. There was a lot of questions after that. Would it mean anything? Because they had done it in the past. Could they build on it? And they do, with the 6-1 season, followed by a 9-4 year last season with a win against UNLV in the bowl game. High expectations coming into this. They had the fourth-quarter collapses, the turnover problems. They are very close and good enough to really be a 4-0 team coming into this game.
Yeah, absolutely. It's the small details that makes the differences between winning games and losing games. We hear it all the time, the cliche word about, any given Saturday or any given Sunday, and it's the game of inches. Well, truly, that's where this team could have been. He's had success everywhere that he's gone, from Wisconsin Whitewater all the way to Buffalo, and now he's experiencing early success with this Kansas team and have truly changed the trajectory of where people view Kansas and how they play them every time they step on the field.
He had a 45-game winning streak with 3 national titles in a row at Wisconsin Whitewater. If that wasn't good enough, he also had a 30-game winning streak with 2 natties. The dude was unstoppable and a perfect choice for this Kansas program. Let's check in with Shane Sparks. We apologize for that. Some issues getting to Shane. We'll check back in just a moment as there's Drake Dabney, the transfer from Baylor. He's able to make the catch. 6-yard pickup.
Here's what you want to see from Josh Hoover. How does he respond after throwing the interception? They picked up, run game, and then short pass. See what happens. Kansas offense, it's the Kansas defense that have shown up and made big plays. Kobe Bryant does a phenomenal job forcing a turnover, being physical. They're flying around the ball, making sure that TCU doesn't get easy change. And then O.J. Burrows takes advantage of a poorly thrown ball by Josh Hoover, and this Kansas defense looks like the part.
Now can they hold on for the final 2 and take the lead into the break?
Yeah, one thing that Coach talked about, Coach Borland raved about how well the defense at practice, one of their best weeks of practice, and they're playing like they have prepared and studied for what TCU wants to do offensively.
2nd and 11. Hoover trying to get back on track, and another great job by Besh to find it with hands and fight for more yards before Burrows and Berryhill bring him down 20 yards, and that's what the TCU offense does. Chunk plays in the passing game.
Yeah, they still got to be careful with the time here. You obviously don't want to score too fast because this Kansas offense is just as explosive and dynamic. So got to work the clock very well, and they're doing that as the referee stands.
DJ Warner took a very slow stroll off the field in the substitution. Here is Payne, a good seam. But an even better stop by Jalen Dye, son of former Royals great Jermaine Dye. How cool is that? That is awesome. Jermaine Dye was one of my favorite players to watch growing up. A legend in these parts. His other son, Devin Dye, transferred from Utah State, also on this Jayhawks team. Tough sledding there for Jeremy Payne. It's going to bring up a 3rd and 2. We have a timeout.
TCU has called their first charge time out of the half. 30 seconds in length.
So go back to that word urgency that we're talking about earlier. Both these teams playing like there is a ton on the line here today.
Yeah, well, it is. If you look at the Big 12 race, man, it's wide open. And we know the parity in this league and how close these teams are. But nobody's necessarily taken a hold and ran away with it. And both of these two teams are extremely talented and still looking for their first Big 12 victory. So that's the sense of urgency that comes out. You don't want to be out of the race before the race even gets started. And that's why the play is so important today. And whoever comes out with the win has just another step moving in the right direction.
Over the Power 4 champions automatically getting into the new 12-team playoff, really the goal is get to the championship game in your conference and figure out how to win it and get in. Here's a 3rd and 2. Jeremy Payne, a true freshman from Missouri City, will remain at tailback. J.P. Richardson in motion. And it's going back to Richardson. Payne with the block, and it sets up Richardson for the first down. Great creativity by Kendall Briles and the execution by Hoover, Payne, and of course Richardson.
Yeah, Jeremy Payne has showcased he can block very well. Lead blocking again, picks up the first down for TCU.
Great cut there by Richardson. Hoover thought about it, goes back to Payne, and Payne still fighting. It's going to be right at the marker with 21 seconds left. And TCU still with 2 timeouts. And it looks like TCU and Sonny Dykes will use one of those timeouts.
Rolling on the field is a first down. TCU has called their second charge time out of the half. 30 seconds in length.
All right, now you're inside the short red zone, inside the 10. What's the approach here for TCU?
Yeah, well, with 21 seconds left, 1 timeout, you can take multiple shots into the end zone. You don't have to on this very first play, right? First down, go with what you think works best. Find your best play, especially in the red zone. Utilize your options. Savion Williams probably is a great opportunity to showcase his athletic ability. He's going against some of the best corners in the country, that's for sure. But Savion Williams, if he is who we think he is, he also matches up very well with his tool set and his athleticism, being 6'5" and very physical. So that got to be an opportunity down here in the red zone to be able to utilize him as a weapon.
And Savion will be at the top of your screen inside J.P. Richardson, who's at the very top of the formation. Bottom of the screen is Besh, who is also a red zone threat. Hoover was looking there, comes back towards the middle, and it's just overthrown to DJ Rogers. Tight window to try to fit that in.
Yeah, very tight window. That was great coverage there. The ball was slightly thrown behind him, which ultimately ended up in an incomplete pass. But honestly, Marvin Grant does a great job sticking right on him and showcasing that, hey, this is not going to be easy if you find a way to get it into the end zone.
17 seconds. One timeout for Sonny Dykes, Josh Hoover, and the Horned Frogs in the second and goal. Williams now at the bottom of the screen. Looking that way, grown man catch. Jack Besh flexing on him. It's taken America a little while to get to know Jack Besh. They will know his name after this performance.
Jack Besh is a man amongst boys. Running a slant route, knowing he's going to be contacted and take a very physical hit, one-on-one opportunity like that, that is nasty right there. Jack Besh is doing unbelievable things for this TCU offense, and Josh Hoover finds a way to find his guy and get another touchdown on the board for this TCU offense.
I mean, that is ridiculous. He's really a complete receiver. He's got a lot of yak ability after the catch. He makes those physical catches as well. And one of the better players in America in contested catches, and I think this would qualify as that.
Absolutely. Take a look again. One-on-one opportunity creates the separation. Obviously knows he's going to be contacted whenever he catches it. Finds a way to be physical. Celebrates big time. 6'2". 215. Well, he's showcasing all of that on that play right there.
You know, McMillan at Arizona gets all the love, rightfully so. But when you look at the numbers, when it comes to yards after the catch, contested catches, Besh actually stacks up well with McMillan at Arizona.
Well, Besh is truly a different specimen, man. Obviously, T-Mac has the intangibles from his size, from a speed perspective, and then obviously his range to be able to go get a ball. But Jack Besh is a guy that whenever you see him, you're like, how is he doing that? What makes him so special? And he does everything very, very good, and that's what's put him into that elite category of guys that can be difference maker for this TCU offense.
7 yards away from his 4th 100-yard game this season. Dude is putting up numbers. Short kick. Kansas jumps on it. We'll get this at the 23-yard line. There's Jared Casey there. So 8 seconds, you got 3 timeouts, but is this just take a knee, cut your losses, head to the locker room?
Yeah, definitely. Be satisfied with what you've been able to do, putting up 17 points so far. Defense is playing subpar. They've created turnovers, but haven't gotten the stops when they needed them to. Go in, regroup, try to find a way to come out second half, put games away, which is what both of these teams have practiced.
TCU now outgaining the Jayhawks by about 140 yards, and this is resiliency. Opening possession of the game, you cough the football up. You have another interception that's almost a pick six, but your defense holds on a 1st and goal from the 6-yard line, and now you go to the locker room with the lead 21-17.
Yeah, that goes to show you it's a tale of two halves within the game, right? It's not necessarily halftime is everything or an interception means all or nothing, right? They're able to bounce back, create some own momentum for them to be able to find a way to put points up on the board at the end of the half and go in with the lead. So it's a lot to play for. There's the sense of urgency that we both mentioned, but execution is key for both of these teams to be able to get into the level of play where they want to get to.
Shane, take it away.
Coach Dykes, you talked about the importance of your defense needing to step up. How proud are you of the effort?
Yeah, I thought it was great. I mean, we got off to a bad start, had us on our heels a little bit, and guys settled in. You know, I thought after we threw the interception, those guys holding, defense holding at the 5-6 yard line was huge. We just got to take care of the ball. We've turned it over twice, and, if we'll take care of the football and keep executing like we will, then I think we're going to be in good shape.
What impresses you most about Jack Besh?
They just make plays. I mean, the guy wants to catch the ball worse than anybody wants to stop him from catching it. So, he's done a great job. Josh has got to do a good job taking care of the ball. We just got to continue to take what they give us.
Thanks, Coach.
It is the Jack Besh Show. 2 touchdowns. Show the run after the catch on the first one, and that second one all about the physicality. His Horned Frogs lead 21-17.
There are those who see the world through a different lens, who take risks, who are willing to make a stand. Because trails, they aren't blazed by the timid, but by the bold. For 150 years, TCU has been creating the next generation of leaders. To think audaciously.
Tonight we have the cassava.
I was so excited when I heard this sandwich.
Pass and first down can provide some rhythm for Jalen Daniels in the passing game.
Longest game for the Jayhawks in the first half, 16 yards. They're typically very explosive on the ground. Haven't seen it yet. Daniels with the deep drop back, throwing as he is hit in a dangerous spot. Jamel Johnson, who had a loud, aggressive first half of football, was the closest Horned Frog there.
Yeah, again, this is the second time we've seen Jalen Daniels under duress, throwing the ball probably in an ill-advised manner. That ball traveled a little further if he was trying to get that to be incomplete, throwing it away without taking an intentional grounding. But for the sake of my heart and the sake of Lance Leipold and Jeff Grimes' heart, make it a little less close where that ball ends up whenever he's trying to throw it away.
Devin Neal with the carry. Neal, junk yardage on first down. Had 8 carries for 48 in the first half with a touchdown. And Johnson makes that stop. Give him 6 yards here.
Again, you see the counter used to perfection. Might have gotten away with a little hold right there, but that's opened up the A-gap for Devin Neal to show that patience and that burst. And it's been the most effective run that they've been able to utilize so far. Puts them in a third and mid, probably 3rd and 4 on this first drive offensively.
3-6 on 3rd down. Neal picks up the first.
It's a great pickup again. Now you see that utilizing the mid-zone play. Devin Neal finds his seam, sticks his foot in the dirt, gets low with the pads, picks up enough for the first down, and we've seen this all too common in the first half with the number of first downs that Kansas picked up offensively by running the rock.
Yeah.
And that's been their calling card so far.
That's where TCU really has struggled defensively, allowing 263 yards rushing on average over the past 2. And just when you breathe a sigh of relief because you don't have to face Devin Neal, you got Daniel Highshaw coming in and doing the physical 4-yard run.
Yeah, no sigh of relief right there. Whenever you got that guy coming in to spell you, and we got an opportunity to see both of them in on this play. But the counter play, again, the calling card, you pick up 4 yards. That's a positive first down. It allows Jeff Grimes to go to the play card and see exactly what he wants to call, and an opportunity to take a shot again downfield right in this high red area.
Grimes in his first season as the OC of the Kansas Jayhawks. Daniels, another deep drop at the 50. Now he's going to get up and go quicker than a hiccup. He does that so well. That is textbook Jalen Daniels down to the 26-yard line. And we have a flag that could negate that run.
Holding number 70, offense, 10-yard penalty. Still second down.
That's against the right tackle. Kobe Baines wipes out a 13-yard pickup.
Yeah, again, this is how crazy the formation is. You see the motion, you see the misdirection, fake option, and you got one guy leaking to the right, another guy leaking and wheeling up to the left. And then Jalen Daniel goes to show you, hey, you drop back and defend all of my passing options. I can do it with my leg. Unfortunately, it was called back for that Kansas offense, but that's still difficult to cover and defend if you're TCU on the defensive side of the ball.
Both teams now with 3 penalties apiece. Daniels, cool customer. Throwing on the run. Intended target was Quentin Skinner, incomplete. Now, let's be honest with this. Biggest difference between this Kansas team and the teams that we've seen the past few years, just been Jalen Daniels has not been as sharp.
Yeah, he hasn't been as accurate as a passer. Obviously, turning the football over was not something that he was accustomed to doing in previous seasons. Staying healthy, though, that's been his key thing that he's needed to work on, and I think part of the reason why we haven't seen him in the run game utilized as much is to be able to protect him and prolong his longevity for the rest of the season.
That's what he said was his #1 goal this year. Finish, stay healthy. Daniels, shot, open receiver. Complete to Luke Grimm. First down, biggest play of the day for the Jayhawks offense. 34 yards.
As soon as we start talking about his accuracy and what he hasn't been able to do consistently, well, what he has been able to do consistently is find his go-to playmaker in the passing game, and that's Luke Grimm. As they come up with a huge third down conversion right there with a little bit more to add on, trying to create some momentum as they move inside of the red zone, try to put up some points and try to take the lead here.
Just the 9th pass of at least 20 yards for the Jayhawks this season. They entered 101 in the FBS in that category. Option, Daniels faking a couple of times, and Abe Kamara read that like a book. Flag is down.
That's a tremendous play by Kamara right there.
Holding, number 70, offense, 10-yard penalty, still first down.
Here they are trying to outflank the defense and get numbers. Abe Kamara able to play both Jalen Daniels and the running back, takes away the pitch, secures the tackle, and then on top of that, you get a holding call. So it's not working in the direction that Kansas needs to go. TCU trying to put together another red zone stand here late in this drive.
Kamara originally out of Georgia when he began his college career in this region, playing for Coffeyville Community College, one of the powers of the JUCO ranks. Daniels, down he goes. Tremendous backside pressure as Cooper McDonald makes a stop. There is a flag far down the field at about the 5-yard line.
Looks like it's going to be holding on the defense, which will give Kansas automatic first.
Holding, number 13, defense, 10-yard penalty, automatic, first down.
Wow, that's against the Travis Brock, the transfer from Utah.
See here, this is what play action does. It allows your DBs to sync up thinking that they're going to hit the counter run, and you see the hold at the top right there because he's caught off guard thinking it's a run play, and then he's, oh wait, I got to get back. First down for Kansas Jayhawks.
And going quick, fake pitch to Highshaw. Looking for Jared Casey, incomplete. Thrown behind him. But that penalty is certainly a game changer. 2 on the Jayhawks on this drive to move them back. And that breathing some life into this drive. Back. And that breathing some life into this drive. Set up Jalen Daniels. You see off target nearly 19% of his passes. 9th highest rate in the FBS. He still has that ability in there to scare you, and that's what he did the last few years. When Daniels got the ball, you held your breath and just hoped for the best if you were trying to slow him down. Quick strike, and that is complete to Luke Grimm, local guy. I'm sure there's a lot of friends and family to see Grimm playing this one.
Yeah, one-on-one opportunity. Bud Clark does a great job. Bud Clark has seen a lot of football. He's probably seen that play a million times. Does a great job. Open field tackle, secure the tackle. But ultimately, this is where you want to be if you're Kansas. You got 3rd and short here. Probably a 2-down territory if you don't pick it up. But they've been so effective in the red zone. This opportunity for them to take advantage of it.
Heel looking. Highshaw looking for the touchdown. Wide open, too easy. Someone's got to jack up the difficulty level for Daniel Highshaw. 8-yard touchdown.
And with that touchdown, Kansas still stays 100% in the red zone in scoring. And Daniel Highshaw shows you why he and Devin Neal are the real deal in the backfield as a dynamic duo. You stop one of them, you got to stop the other.
5 touchdown drives combined of at least 71 yards. So Hoover in the first half, leading TCU to a touchdown to Besh. How does he open up the second half? Awkward angle, low throw to Savion Williams. They're saying catch on the field. Fozzie, you immediately said incomplete.
It looked like it hit the ground, but Savion Williams, he has those long arms, giant hands. He makes a catch.
Cam Cook wrestling forward, popped at the 40-yard line. Man, Kobe Bryant does it all. Not the biggest dude, but ain't afraid to mix it up.
What you want to see, man, physicality at the corner position. If you can cover, that's obviously the main reason why you're there. But whenever you add in the physicality and willingness to be able to come in and come up and strike in the run game, that separates you from everybody else.
How about that awkward angle, though, on that first pass from Josh Hoover? Showing he's an athlete there. 22 of 27, does have the 1 interception. Play action for Hoover. Felt the pressure like a pro and finds Besh. And Besh, with that catch, continues a dominant start in the season. He's over 100 yards yet again.
Yeah, the go-to guy right there gets an opportunity to get right behind the defense. There's no way the linebackers are able to run with him. Jack Besh just finds a way to get open, and Josh Hoover knows exactly when to deliver the pass to him and make a big gain.
Keeping it on the ground to Cook. Not much there to the 30-yard line. But that is turning into one of these prolific duos that we always seem to see in the Big 12. You got a quarterback, deep receivers, but there's usually that one guy. Jack Besh is that one guy.
Yeah, he's separating himself very quickly for what he's been able to put together throughout the course of this season. And this game is indicative of what he can be for games to come.
4th 100-yard game this season for Besh. And Williams wasn't looking. Dotson got the interception. Number 10 in Mello Dotson's prolific career.
Moving on the field is an interception. First down, Kansas.
Yeah, there appeared to be some miscommunication between Hoover and Williams. It didn't look like Williams was on point with it. But Mello says, hey, you throw a ball my way, I'm used to picking it off, as he makes the fingertip grab right there. Phenomenal. Second interception by this Kansas.
Bryant, as they move up the all-time KU list, both these guys with 10 interceptions in their careers, so 20 combined, the most for any Power 4 cornerback duo. I don't know how you go up against those two, Fozzie. Now Kansas trying to turn it into points. They have 10 points off those 2 previous takeaways. Trying to add to it as Johnny Hodges, former Navy lacrosse star, gets the stop. How does that alter a game plan when you have 2 guys that can shut you down and pick it off?
Well, ultimately, we saw the way TCU wanted to attack early on. They went after the safeties, after the nickel, and they were staying more in the middle of the field with their passes. Savion Williams and Hoover didn't have the communication proper there. Mello Dotson ended up right place, right time, and the hands to secure the catch. That's what happened.
Daniels will throw again. A good blitz pickup by Neal. He did get rocked, but it's a high throw to Jared Casey. Jarrell Johnson was in coverage. Devin Neal put his body on the line to keep his quarterback upright.
That's what you want to see from a running back. We know Devin Neal is experienced in toting the rock, explosive, can catch out of the backfield, but can he protect whenever Jalen Daniels needs to throw the rock. Well, we saw it clear as day right there. It didn't result in a completion, but it gave Jalen Daniels the time to escape the pocket.
Last touchdown drive, Kansas converted on 3rd down 3 times. And they make it 4 in a row. Open man. And on the spot to Lawrence Arnold. Yard pickup, they're saying incomplete.
After further discussion.
I don't know.
It goes to Arnold. It certainly looks like he has the catch and it just comes out late. But they're saying incomplete pass, that he did not complete the catch on the way to the ground. If anything, that looked like a situation where you say it's not a fumble.
After further discussion, it is ruled an incomplete pass, 4th down.
All right, we had a situation like this with Virginia Tech and Miami last night.
Previous play.
That's a catch.
Of an incomplete pass is under further review.
Yeah, with that angle, it's hard to tell, but it looks as though as soon as he's contacted by Jamel Johnson, the ball moves a little bit. I'm not quite sure if the catch was secured as soon as he caught it. In this angle, we may be able to see a little bit. As he catches it, that ball moves as soon as he's contacted by Jamel Johnson. So he's not able, it looks like, to secure it through the ground.
So the knee is down, and it really depends on how long they need to see possession to the ground to call this a catch. So right here, Fonzie, what do you see?
He does appear to have possession there. But it's going to have to be clear and conclusive
because it was ruled
for them to overturn that. And you see, as soon as he's hit, that ball moves just a little bit. And I think that's where the uncertainty comes in because of the initial movement on the hit. But I don't think there's clear evidence to show that he secured it after he was hit and was able to show, okay, that's actually pretty good right there.
Yeah.
You see, he was able to secure it. Knees on the ground, then he rolls over, the ball is stripped out.
After review, ruling on the field stands is called. It's 4th down.
And Lance Leipold is right in front of the officiating crew, has to be separated, staring down the official that made the announcement. Unfortunately, covering the lips with the play sheet. Because
he goes down. Then Jamel Johnson rips it out. Referees thought the evidence wasn't clear and conclusive, and Lance Leipold gave his opinion on the situation as well.
So Hoover comes back after throwing the interception. That's complete to J.P. Richardson, who takes it to the 45. Really there, it comes down to ultimately how long do you have to have possession to the ground once you complete the catch, because that's where the gray area is. Because at what point can he keep gripping and ripping once the guy is down? And here is Payne. Payne cutting it back into the open field. And Jeremy Payne, the true freshman, has the longest run of the season for TCU, the first of more than 20 yards.
Yeah, he has a great setup there. Being able to read the inside zone, find the hole, make a big play. TCU might have found their option running the rock.
First run of more than 20 yards. That ball is out. It looks like a fumble. Kansas pounces on it. Do they have takeaway number 4? They do.
It's a fumble. Recovered by the defense. First down, Kansas.
And what did Rasheed Wallace used to say?
Ball don't lie. It's a great job by Kansas defense. Able to force pressure off the right side. And that's Woodkey right there, being able to hit the ball out. And you see a Strum right at the bottom. Savion Williams trying to get in there. We'll take another look.
Previous play of a fumble's under further review.
Oh, no.
His hand may have been going forward, which would be another no-no for this Kansas crowd, as it could possibly take away another turnover to this Kansas defense, but the pressure that you see collapsing the pocket, being able to make it uncomfortable for Josh Hoover. They checked to see if Hoover's hand was going forward.
And Hoover saying, yeah, it was. It was going forward. That's an incomplete pass. You be the judge. Woodkey makes contact. I don't know. I think that ball is coming out. At least there's movement before the hand is coming forward.
Ooh, I don't know. That's as close as it can get.
Man.
They call fumble as the original call, so now you have to see the clear evidence. But it almost appears he still has it as it begins to move forward.
From that angle, it does look like Hoover is going forward. Oh, man.
Yeah, and if that is the case, you will hear it from this crowd with the amount of displeasure they will audibly show towards these referees.
Will this be turnover number 4?
I will say this while they continue to review it, and it's as close as it can get. That's a good look. That's a good look here. As you can see, defenders hitting the arm. It does look like it's going forward. They might overchange it to an incomplete pass. It's not official, but we'll see.
Remember,
this is as close as it gets, though.
Ruled on the field as a fumble. So it's got to be indisputable to be able to overturn this thing.
Wookie's been in on some plays for this Kansas defense.
If this gets overturned, Sonny Dykes is just going to be smirking on the other sideline saying, hey, I was there last week. This is what led me to get the boot.
I know all about it. And you can see how close this is from the amount of time that it's taken the officials to go through this review.
Here we go, Fozzie.
As he takes off the headset, let's hear what he has to say.
After review, the quarterback still had firm control of the ball coming forward. Therefore, it's an incomplete pass. It'll be second down.
So new life for Josh Hoover. Fortunately for him, that right arm was coming forward. That is overturned. It's now a 2nd and 10 as TCU trails by 3. This game is bonkers. Play action, rolling right. And that throw is high pointed. Is it hauled in?
Out of bounds.
Out of bounds, but they were looking for the big man Besh. Well out. 3rd and 10. Arrowhead coming to life. Hoover wants to run. Stopped well short by Tyron Berryhill. Filling in for the injured Cornell Wheeler, the team captain. Berryhill makes a stop on 3rd down.
It's a great job by Berryhill in this Kansas defense. They weren't fooled at all by the quarterback draw. You see, you got 2 guys waiting on him at the point of attack. Secure the tackle. Now you force a field goal opportunity in a stadium where the wind swirls quite a bit.
42-yard attempt for Kyle Limmerman, a freshman. That's a rip. No good. So after all of that, basically the same result, no points, and it's going to be KU football. Wild.
It's a big stop. So many emotions over the course of these past few games. But ultimately, forcing field goal attempts is what you want to see. As the ball is just pushed a little right, and you see the wind taking the ball a little bit further that way. And the swirl that happens, it makes a big impact.
And it's the little things that add up. Your team is struggling. Feel like you just can't get out of your own way. Even when you get a break, when you avoid turnover number 4, a missed field goal like that, momentum belongs to Kansas. Highshaw stretching it. Great block on the perimeter. Powering his way to the 40-yard line. And those receivers willing and able to set up the running backs in the run game.
They go tempo here, trying to catch him off guard.
4-man rush, thrown behind and incomplete to Trevor Cardell. And that's the pass. And we've seen a lot this season from Jalen Daniels. Just a little bit off. Good read, yes. Just a little off.
And they had the play call. The play call was perfect. You catch TCU's defense on their heels trailing and just can't get the pass quite where you want it to go. And it results in a missed opportunity for the Kansas offense.
2nd and 10. Highshaw. Cut back. And picks up 4 yards. Max Carroll. Zach Chapman. There for the stop. Jamel Johnson being active as he has all day long. Here's a 3rd and 6. That 3rd down where they thought they had the completion with Lawrence Arnold. That was overturned. Led to a punt. And then the fumble that was not. KU with a football back. 3rd and 6. Highshaw. Stopped. Brought down by Johnny Hodges. Johnny on the spot, holding up the fist to signal it's 4th down.
They went conservative there. We've seen them have so much success running the rock on 3rd down. That time, Johnny Hodges was not fooled. He says, hey, I'm not allowing this to happen any further in this game. He makes a big impact play. Now you see Kansas setting up in a punt formation, but be careful. This is fake territory right around midfield.
And we have a whistle and a flag on the far side. Looks like it's going to be against Kansas.
Prior to snap, false start. Number 34, offense, 5-yard penalty, still 4th down.
So back up, Damon Briggs. Penalty number 5 for the Jayhawks.
Game clock operator, please reset the game clock to 2:07, please. 2:07.
All right, what crazy thing will we see next? The wind swirling inside Arrowhead. Graves has to get this one off, and Richardson has to deal with that wind to secure the catch. This is a boomer. Backing up, Richardson retreating to the 10. TCU with the big block. Richardson still up. Oh, the cutback! Not to be denied. J.P. Richardson to the house. Now the Kansas crowd is going crazy because they thought they saw a block in the back right there.
It's very close, but at the end of the day, you got to keep playing. And what J.P. Richardson does is find a way to make a play whenever his team needs a play to be made. They're not finding it on offense, that's fine. Not finding it on defense, that's fine. J.P. Richardson says, hey, special teams, it's our turn to put some points up on the board. And they take advantage of a huge kick that could have flipped the field and turn it into 7 points or 6 points for the TCU Horned Frogs.
J.P. Richardson goes 89 yards. And I was alluding to it. What other insane thing were we in store for? And it was this, the Richardson return. We're looking at the right side of the screen, right there, the little bump by Caden McFadden. Is that enough to throw a flag?
It obviously was not enough. The referees would have thrown it if they felt otherwise. He shields his body gets in front of the defender not able to make a play on J.P. Richardson. And then when it's all said and done, J.P. Richardson says, I'm just taking care of business, trying to quiet this pro-Kansas crowd in Arrowhead Stadium.
Back and forth we go. Had to fill a major void for this offense with Jared Wiley now playing for the Chiefs. Richardson was second on the team in catches last season behind Wiley. And with more of a loaded receiver room this year, Richardson having a great year as a receiver, but has had to find other ways to make an even bigger impact, and that return is the spark that Sonny Dykes needed. And no flags. Remember the heartbreak with Jordan Bailey last week with the kick return for a touchdown that drew the flag, eventually led to Sonny Dykes getting kicked out of the game. Lance Leipold is hot. And that is going out of bounds. And so this will be great field position for Kansas.
Kicking team, ball placed at the 35-yard line. First down.
Shane, what do you got?
Well, you said it, Lowell. Lance Leipold, this has been an emotional third quarter, a handful of calls that haven't gone the Kansas way. You can feel that energy and that frustration down here on the Kansas sideline. Of course, the Jayhawk fans are not happy. I mean, this is a good old-fashioned dogfight. These final 15 minutes plus, going to be a lot of fun.
This is what you want. Two teams backed into a corner. Looking like the season is on the line. What the Kansas fans are saying is, let the guys decide it on the field, not upstairs or on the sidelines. How do they respond now as TCU is quickly taking the momentum back? Daniels almost trips. And Daniels falling out of bounds, pursued by Johnny Hodges. 7-yard pickup.
Yeah, it seemed like he couldn't gather his feet underneath himself. Sometimes the surface on this field can get a little slick, and it seems to got him a little crazy while he was trying to spin back the opposite direction, but ultimately turns into a big pickup, keep them ahead of the chains. Looking at 2nd and 4 here, trying to pick up a first down.
1:15 and counting here to go in the third quarter. Daniels only 8 of 21 through the air. That's Devin Neal, and the stop made by Abe Kamara. Johnny Hodges also been really active here in the third quarter.
Yeah, this TCU defense is trying to find ways to continuously stop the run. And right there was nothing doing for Devin Neal. But the beauty of what Kansas can do is they have that dynamic duo at the running back position. You can keep one of those guys fresh at all times. As you see Neal coming off, Highshaw checking in. And we'll see what Kansas wants to do on 3rd and 3.
Jayhawks with 158 rushing yards, 5.9 per carry. But what they have not done is ripped off the big one. Daniels, well-timed pitch. Highshaw has the first down. And this should take us down to the end of the third quarter. Fozzie, this was one of the more bizarre and entertaining quarters of football we've seen in the Big 12 and in college football all season long.
And if this is any indication what we can expect for the fourth quarter, it's going to be fireworks happening in Arrowhead. Both of these teams need a win in the worst way, and they're playing like it. TCU is up 28-24 heading into the fourth.
Target Circle Week, 1 week.
Sunday the 6th.
Target Circle Week,
Sunday the
1
6th.
week.
Big
Wow.
deal.
It's Target Circle Week.
Get ready for 7 days of big deals.
That's right, Penn. What a big week.
Huge week. Starting October 6th.
Whatever you're into, Mercedes-Benz has an SUV for you. City shopping spree you. Weekend getaway you. Outdoor adventures you.
Coach, that was a third quarter of up and down, a lot of emotions. Your thoughts on some of those calls?
Well, I know you saw them too. What'd you think of them? I know it's something right now. We can't get a call right now. You know, it's a continued struggle. Let's put it that way, a continued struggle.
Thoughts on this fourth quarter? What can we expect?
Well, yeah, it's going to be an exciting game. We just don't need anybody but the two teams deciding it. And we got to keep playing. We got to keep driving. You know, they're a good football team, and they got explosive offense.
Thanks.
Jalen Daniels just gave it his best shot. Underthrown to Quentin Skinner, who almost came back and made a great catch. Looked like he was tripped up by Travis Broughton, but no flag. Incomplete. 2nd and 10. Fourth quarter has been bonkers for both these teams. Massive collapse for TCU 2 games ago against UCF, and 3 straight losses, blowing fourth quarter leads for the Jayhawks. Devin Neal with the carry and set up a 3rd down. If you're Kansas, at least you're switching it up now.
Yes.
And you're playing from behind in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, this is the first time all season that they haven't gone into the fourth quarter with a lead. So it might change the dynamic of how they approach this drive coming up. 3rd and 5 midfield. It might be 4-down territory if they don't pick it up right here.
Lance Leihold and KU Nation running hot.
Kansas
and the Jayhawks.
Their first charge timeout of the second half.
They want a timeout before this pivotal 3rd and 5, and we'll get to those moments in the game where all of this matters and becomes even more amplified with the insanity unfolding inside Arrowhead.
On the pass, could not ultimately bring it in, and those are opportunities that can come back to haunt you and bite you in the butt if you're not able to take advantage of them in the fourth quarter.
And after using that timeout here in a tight game, this better be a gem from offensive coordinator Jeff Grimes in his first season calling the plays for Lance Leipold at Kansas. Devin Neal, the tailback. Daniels will throw. Somehow caught. Luke Grimm, sideline, down to the 20. TCU almost jumped it. Kamara was thinking pick 6. Grimm had other ideas.
The game of inches, like we mentioned earlier. Jalen Daniel finds his go-to guy, Luke Grimm, who has been on the receiving end of a lot of the big passing plays for this Kansas offense. And if Abe Kamara maybe was 1 inch taller, Mike could have batted that pass down, but ultimately big play for Kansas.
Grimm with the first touchdown of the day. Here's a little reverse to Squinter. And Skinner, it looked like he got tripped up by Jamel Johnson, but somehow still fighting for some extra yards. High-speed collision there.
Yeah, he must be Spider-Man or something.
How did he
stayed up? Little spinneroonie on top of that. Utilizing his expert ability to keep his balance. That was great athleticism right there. Turned a 1-yard gain to a 2-yard gain.
That's an impressive 1 yard after contact by Quentin Skinner.
Absolutely.
2nd and 8. To the ground. Neal cannot slip through the tackle of Terrence Cooks. They're down.
Devin Neal has had some success throughout the course of the game, but TCU's really clamped down on giving up some of those big chunk runs and have found their identity defensively in the second half as far as defending the run and not giving up those big chunk plays.
Kansas ultra aggressive going for it on 4th down. Do they approach this like it is 4-down territory?
I think they do.
3rd and 5. Cardell to Daniels left. He looks right, goes back left. Oh my goodness, almost picked, almost caught. And it was that same combo, Kamara and Grimm. Living dangerously is Jalen Daniels.
Well, again, this is another opportunity. If Abe Kamara maybe was an inch taller, he might could have had himself another opportunity. And then Luke Grimm off of the batted tip ball, almost came down with it. That would have been a huge play for Kansas's offense.
Instead, it's going to bring out the field goal kicking unit. 41 yards for Allen. Looks good off the boot. And it is. And the Jayhawks pull within a point here in the fourth quarter, 28-27. Lance Leipold has really gotten everything settled down after a hectic third quarter. Brings us to this. A problematic fourth quarter for the Kansas Jayhawks. That's been the issue over the previous 3 games. At Illinois, a lead in the fourth, but the Illini get the win. UNLV, so many chances for Kansas to close this one out. They could not. And then most recently, a devastating meltdown against West Virginia with the Jayhawks and a 28-17 lead with under 6 minutes left, only to see WVU come away with the win. How do you get past something like that?
Well, ultimately, you got to display the confidence that you want your young men to carry. Lance Leipold has showed the confidence to his team. Same way with Jeff Grimes, same way with Brian Borland. Make sure that this team is playing at an ultra-confident level so that whenever the opportunity arises, they're not scared to take advantage of it as they put up points on their first drive in the fourth quarter so far.
And the message was, we just need to find a way. And sometimes you don't know the right way to get there. You just got to do it. Lance Leipold even told us it was before last week's game against West Virginia where they put the heightened focus on the fourth quarter, but that didn't work. So at this point, you just got to get it done. Doesn't matter how.
Yeah, they've tried to manufacture some of the same types of looks and situations that they've experienced or may be in upcoming games. And this is a perfect scenario of one of the opportunities that they've probably scripted and had play out over the course of practice. Same way for TCU as this game is coming down to the wire, it appears.
Now the issue for TCU in the fourth quarter has been the inability to put away games by using their ground game to nurse leads. Looks like they found a spark here in the freshman, and just going out of bounds is Jeremy Payne. Another explosive play, 16 yards.
Yeah, you see the sprint draw there. One of my favorite plays as a running back. Jeremy Payne executes it to perfection. Offensive line gives the illusion that everybody's moving to the right. Quarterback sprinting out right. You hand it back in the opposite direction. Another opportunity to use some misdirection to help offset the impact of what the run game has been in the past for TCU.
Payne ranked 292 in the 2024 ESPN 300 class, so a big-time recruit. Hoover stays alive. He's got McAllister. How did he get that off? How does McAllister stay up and keep cruising? Unreal! Hoover, McAllister, do you believe it?
What an absolutely amazing play. And we talked about guys doing special things and showing up in a big way at a big time. Well, Hoover, with the guy in his face, throws a long ball all the way to McAllister. We haven't called McAllister's name much today. He gets his first opportunity to make his stamp in the game. Catches it, breaks a tackle, forces another missed tackle with that long arm, stiff arm. And he just flips the script again. 2 plays, 75 yards. TCU strikes again.
What's set up by the run with Jeremy Payne, and then some magic here from Hoover.
Yeah, run game has helped him. There's the great balance ability of McAllister, and then the speed to run away from that Kansas defense. You see TCU open the lead up a little bit, 35-27 in the fourth quarter.
At some point, Kansas needs a break. Everything going TCU's way. There's a hard-charging Daniel Highshaw with the carry on first down, but I was going to say, I don't know what was more impressive. Hoover's ability to break that tackle and throw from the far hash,
yes,
or McAllister and the ability to shake 3 KU defenders with a touchdown.
Yeah, I think they both were equally as impressive. That's not what I had on the calling card on that play happening whenever the immediate pressure was in Hoover's face. Great job by him to stay poised and controlled in the pocket.
And Josh Hoover is a dude also flying under the radar on the national level. Jalen Daniels, oh no, body slammed by Abe Kamara. WWE Raw style by the TCU DB.
Boom, look at that pop right there. He's bringing it. Abe Kamara says this is payback for the 2 passes I wasn't able to get on the previous drive.
But that's a couple of great reads on that speed option that Kamara has had.
Absolutely. That's his second time being able to hit Jalen Daniels again on the speed option play.
And not an easy look to get ready for.
No.
Daniels, clean pocket underneath, but there is Jamel Johnson. Johnson's been a stud. Remember early in the game, he had that tackle, a shoestring tackle to save a touchdown. That's going to be a 3-and-out. There's Eric McAllister getting worked on. The Boise State transfer has been electric. That was one of the plays of the year. We saw the TCU the 35-27 lead. They really got that momentum back with the guy that is back deep to return this punt, J.P. Richardson. Can he do it again? He will not stay away, so Richardson has a chance. Richardson to the 30, so a 44-yard punt. Last time we saw Richardson, 89 yards to the house. Then we got that big play from Hoover to McAllister. Let's talk, though, a little bit more about Josh Hoover.
Yes.
Since he took over as a starting quarterback in October last year, coming into this game, he has an 82.8 QBR. In that span, that is better than Jackson Dart, Jalen Milroe, Quinn Ewers, among others. That is elite company.
Absolutely. You talk about being very efficient and effective. I know he's thrown a pair of interceptions today, but coming into this game, he's taken care of the football and has had a big impact.
Haas Haney, the quarterback now. Hoover looks okay. We saw Haney come in on a third down situation earlier because this is what he does, tilt the rock, but that's Woodkey with the stop. Woodkey had what looked like to be a forced fumble that was overturned a couple drives ago. Haney comes off the field, Hoover back off.
I always wonder, for a quarterback that just found some rhythm, why take him out? And then you're now backed in the hole, loss of 2 yards on that play. Now you put a little bit more pressure on what Josh Hoover has to get done for second and third down and try to make it manageable again.
They'll keep it on the ground, and it's Cam Cook, shake, bake, and right at the first down marker. It looks like they will move the chains. So 13-yard pickup in the first down. So this opens a new layer to the dynamics of the TCU offense. If they can find a way to chew clock with the ground game, something that really bit them in the loss against UCF.
Yeah, coming into this game, they averaged only 88 yards a carry. After that last carry by Cam Cook, they averaging over almost 5 yards a pop, 120 yards on the ground. Creates a different dynamic for this TCU offense.
A little pitch, JoJo Earl cutting up with the rip-away towel. Looked like Earl Campbell back in the day with the jersey just ripping off for the Houston Oilers.
Man, again, extension of the ground game, being able to use the misdirection. JoJo Earl shows you why he is so shifty. Puts one defender on the ground, gets some additional yardage, turns what could have been a -5 TFL into a +5 situation, 2nd and 5 moving forward for this TCU offense.
Wardrobe malfunction for JoJo Earl, but it doesn't matter, it still worked. As By Job, transfer from Michigan State, makes the stop. So it's still one possession game, but KU needs to stop in the most desperate way. And Cam Cook methodically picking up the first down. Mello Dotson is there with the tackle.
Now you're looking at 2 first downs that TCU has been able to capitalize on by utilizing the ground game. We mentioned coming into this game, that was a point of emphasis for Kendall Browse and Sonny Dykes offensively. So they're not so one-dimensional, always relying on Besh and Hoover to be able to bail them out. If you have an explosive run game like Jeremy Payne and Cam Cook has been able to provide for this TCU offense, you're able to chew up some clock and pick up first down.
And TCU was averaging 89 rushing yards per game coming into this, as that's complete to Jack Besh. So far tonight, 131, so a step in the right direction.
Yeah, big time, and you can see right now why that is a positive and a bonus for your team that is having a lead to be able to go and chew clock off. Right now, it's their clock is not their best friend for Kansas as they're trying to get the ball back as quickly as possible.
Cook Daylight spinning off the tackle, still fighting. Shy of the 30-yard line, spot him at the 32, but it's a first down pickup, and it's not just now chewing away the game. They've been effective with their balance on the ground since the jump.
Absolutely, and you can see the fourth quarter taking its toll on this Kansas defense, which was once lights out on the defensive side of the ball early on in this second half and early on in the game. We're starting to see missed tackles pile up and that additional yardage come at the end of games. As we saw last drive, Eric McAllister made them pay with a big touchdown.
Think about this. TCU was trying to win a game despite losing the turnover battle 3-0. This is how you do it. Just keep grinding on the ground, maintain that lead, positive yards. Or is it just keep swimming, to make your Nemo reference?
Absolutely, absolutely. And what you talk about is being able to go through such the emotional roller coasters that they've experienced over the past couple of weeks. That starts to train you. The mind, your mind starts creeping in. Hey, fourth quarter, we haven't been able to do this. We're starting to drag a little bit. We haven't made the plays. You're seeing guys miss tackles. This is not the time that you want to be at your worst. This is where physical condition got to take up a notch, make the play.
Moving to strike, McAllister trying to look for more. And he's to the 20-yard line. Josh Hoover now has gone for at least 250 passing yards in 9 straight games. That's the longest active stretch in the FBS, and passes Trevon Boykin for TCU's longest streak in 20 years.
He's playing at an extremely high level since he's taken over and gotten comfortable at that starting position, taking care of the football, been his calling card early on. If he can continue to take care of the football and lead the team the way that he's been able to lead them and keep that combination that he's got going on, that dynamic duo ability with Jack Besh, man, this team can be very, very scary, especially on the offensive side of the ball.
351 through the air, 3 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, and one of those was early, right? Like he has shown the ability to come back from some early miscues and still play at a high level.
Yeah, his confidence wasn't shot at all.
Payne on the ground. I think Payne is opening some eyes. He's going to get some buzz among the TCU fan base next week.
Absolutely, as a true freshman, being able to be the leading rusher on this football team, averaging over 8 yards a carry right now. He showcased his dynamic ability, but I'm even more impressed with his unselfish nature, which probably got him on the field to begin with, was his 2 plays as a lead blocker. One ended up in a pancake, another ended up in a first down for the TCU offense.
And this is just an absolute gut punch of a drive right now by TCU. Doing something they have struggled to do this season, run the ball effectively, thrown behind McAllister, and will set up a 3rd and 6. But where KU has felt like they've done a great job stopping the run, TCU has struggled to establish a run game there, yet they've run the football at will on this drive.
Absolutely, and that's what you want to see. Fourth quarter mindset, something that every coach preaches and talks about, but at the end of the day, you have to go out and execute. And right now, this is the drive where TCU has found ways to execute, pick up first downs, but the most important thing is keep that clock rolling as much as possible.
10-play, 52-yard drive. Here's the money down, 3rd and 6. And it's Besh trying to slip through the Kansas defense. A field goal for Sonny Dykes in TCU makes this a two-possession game, but he's going for the jugular here on 4th and 1. The TCU offense stays out there. If the Jayhawks can bowl up, they've got a shot with 3:05 left. The 2-minute timeout still coming up, and 1 timeout left to go. Hoover, we saw the tush push last time in this formation. A hard count, trying to get KU to jump. Is this a bluff? And it looks like it is.
TCU has called their first charge time out of the half.
This game is absolutely wild. Third quarter, Kansas leads 24-21 until this happens. J.P. Richardson, the cutback, 89-yard punt return touchdown for the score, and that gives the Horned Frogs the lead.
Yeah, he had a couple explosive and dynamic cuts right there. In small spaces, J.P. Richardson made it count whenever he needed it to.
Then after a field goal by the Jayhawks, somehow Josh Hoover stays up, throws from the far hash, and Eric McAllister does the rest.
Yeah, being able to make something happen out of nothing is where TCU has lived over those past 2 scores to help give them the lead.
This game has been wild. Both teams have traded scores since the beginning of the game. No team has scored back-to-back in this game. Fozzie, we've also have had 5 lead changes. This from 29 yards out with Kyle Lemmerman, who missed from 40-plus earlier in the game, to make it a 2-score game, and he does. So an 11-point lead for the TCU Horned Frogs with 3:02 left. Now it's go time for Lance Leipold and an offense that's not really built to go fast.
Absolutely. You look at it, the last drive took off 6 minutes and 10 seconds by that TCU offense, which is valuable time that Kansas needs. With only 1 timeout remaining, this Kansas offense is going to have to score quickly, get an onside kick, and then find a way to get back in position after converting on a 2-point conversion. And it's a tall task, but if anybody can do it, this explosive offense, they have players and dynamic players in right spots. But Jalen Daniels going to have to be on, because this has not been one of his best passing performances.
And the Jayhawk fans are starting to leave Arrowhead early, which you hate to see. It's still a glimmer of hope for Jalen Daniels and this Kansas team. Like Lance Leipold said, they need the fans. They know this has been a rough start, but it's also a reminder of where you've come from as a program. The fact that Lance Leipold has given you something to believe in, given you something to almost be disappointed in with a slow start like this, because the expectations have risen so much.
Yeah.
And it's because of the job Lance Leipold has done. Short kick, and this will be returnable. And Jared Casey will take it to the 40-yard line. Just looked over to my right, seeing Bill Self in attendance.
So are we in the VIP suite, or is he in the VIP suite? I don't know.
This is a pretty good vantage point here at Arrowhead. I mean, what a scene for a game. One of the most storied buildings in the game of football. And here we go, 2:57 remaining, the 2-minute timeout coming up, and a timeout in their pocket. It's time for some Jalen magic. Does he have some left? Taking a shot, one-on-one coverage, some contact, no flag, as he's looking for Lawrence Arnold. Now, for Kansas, you're going to look at this game and you're going to think about the overturned calls in the third quarter. Jayhawks fans will point out the third down completion, the grid that was overturned. They'll point out the ball that was forced out by Woodkey against Hoover, ruled a fumble on the field, overturned to an incomplete pass. TCU fans are going to recall the heroics of J.P. Richardson, the punt return touchdown, and Hoover to McAllister. Still, time to work for Jalen Daniels. Fighting. And he tries to get rid of this before Cooper McDonald gets there. Will be an incomplete pass. McDonald is saying, I got him, or wants grounded.
Yeah, the ball didn't get back to the line of scrimmage as he scrambled outside of the pocket.
Intentional grounding, number 6. Offense, no receiver in the area. Ball did not get beyond the line of scrimmage. Lost it down at the spot of the foul. Third down.
You feel for that young man that's been through so much here in his journey at Kansas. It's a guy that flipped on National Signing Day from Middle Tennessee, making the jump to the big time in the Big 12, and has been a key part. One of the biggest parts, probably outside Lance Leipold, and to the turnaround of his Kansas program.
Yeah.
But also one of the reasons why they have struggled. Now on their way to what looks like a 4th straight loss, because he has not been sharp to start the year.
Yeah.
Late in the play clock, Daniels showing off the arm strength to Lawrence Arnold, who will step out. Channing Canada there with the defense, 13-yard pickup.
Here's the game here. 4th and 9. Big opportunity. Kansas got to find a way to get a first down. You get a chance to use the 2-minute timeout, still have your timeout in your pocket, but you just got to pick up 9 yards at bare minimum.
Daniels throwing underneath. It's almost like he didn't recognize the situation down in distance.
That just can't happen from a veteran leader of his stature. You got to get that ball past the sticks. You got to find a way to make it happen, whether it's with your legs, throwing it, whatever the case may be. But it can't be a drop-off to your tight end and expect that to get the job done, and it resulted in an incompletion. And now you really see the droves of Jayhawk fans heading out of Arrowhead in such a devastating loss in what had been a great game all throughout 4 quarters.
It's a different Kansas program. I mean, they fought tough against a good program at TCU. They've had to go through a lot. The Gateway District constructed there in Lawrence, playing all their games in Kansas City this year and having to bus to the games in KC. It takes a lot out of any team, and it has been a
2-minute timeout
for the Jayhawks. 2-minute timeout. TCU can line up, try to bleed the clock. They move to 3 and 2. Huge Big 12 game here inside Arrowhead. Lower Galindo, Fozzie Whitaker, Shane Sparks. We talked to Sonny Dykes leading up to this game, and he said, I've been around some teams that aren't very good. This is not one of those situations. I firmly believe this is a good team. And this is a heck of a bounce-back performance, just what they needed, as they need to waste away these final 2 minutes to move to 1-1 in Big 12 play, as Mello Dotson is down, hurt for Kansas. Slow to get up, but he's up nonetheless.
Kansas has called their 3rd and final charge team timeout. 30 seconds in length.
So this game got bonkers in the 3rd quarter. There were the overturned calls, but TCU kept their composure. And when they were down, they needed a spark, and J.P. Richardson delivers. The son of the former Texas A&M great Bucky Richardson, living up to his dad's legacy there.
Yeah, huge dynamic play. And then the other play of the game, Josh Hoover eluding a defender in his face, firing it out all the way on the opposite side of the field to Eric McAllister. McAllister making 2 guys miss, then goes and score to help put them up 8 points over Kansas.
Now, I think this looks favorable for TCU. It's a talented team. This is a good win for them. They've got Houston that has struggled, and then the huge one at Utah. Right now, the Big 12 favorite. If they can find a way to get past Utah on the road, who knows? Who knows? A Big 12 championship game appearance is still a possibility.
Yeah, everything is still on the table, but that is a big if they can find a way to get past Utah on the road. We know how stingy Utah is. A lot of the success that TCU was able to have today was because of the fact they could run the ball. Having 148 yards on the ground created a big opportunity for them to move forward and put this game out of reach.
ESPN Analytics matchup predictor gave KU a 60.9% chance of winning this game. They certainly had their opportunities, could not capitalize. Want to go back to what you were talking about, though, the job of Kendall Briles' son, game planning, coming into this game, knowing that they had struggled with the run, but finding different ways to get athletes involved, and also realizing Jeremy Payne, the true freshman, was a guy to build around, as well as this true freshman, Haas Haney, who had a big third down conversion early in the game.
Yeah, the only thing Coach doesn't like about that run is he goes out of bounds. The only way you go out of bounds whenever you got the lead with the clock running in the fourth quarter is if you pick up a for sure first down, because that ends the game. But by not picking up that first down, you stop the clock and give this Kansas team an opportunity to try to take the ball over and a chance to score and put points up on the board.
And that's a moment that the true freshman from Alito will learn from. It's a spark just to see him back. And he's getting the talking to from Coach Kendall Briles on the sideline. That will bring out the punt unit, so we do have a flag down delay of game.
Offense, 5-yard penalty, still fourth down.
But it's always interesting to see how coaches will adjust. When they know that they're not good at doing something in particular, do they just give up the fight and say that's what we're going to be and we'll just throw the football more? Or do they really try to game plan and work around it like Kendall Briles did in this game? It was impressive, Fozzie.
Yeah, I'm very impressed with it. Got to manufacture it. Got to manufacture it.
Now for Kansas, they're going to drop to 0-2 in Big 12 play. It will be 4 straight losses. This is tough now. Go on the road to Arizona State. It's been one of the surprises in the Big 12. You got to win Houston. That team is struggling. And then at K-State, at home against Iowa State, at BYU. Who knows about Colorado? And then in Waco, that's a crazy schedule.
Yeah, very crazy. Baylor and BYU just went down to the wire. Colorado was beating UCF the last time that I saw. The schedule is not favorable.
Jalen Daniels will throw, complete to Skinner. What adjustments do the Jayhawks make after this?
Well, it all starts with Jalen Daniels. From the beginning of the game, we mentioned his impact, what he needed to do, and what he needed to continue to do. He didn't have the turnovers that we had been accustomed to seeing him have early on in the season, but at the same time, it's not the same Jalen Daniels that we've experienced over the past 3 years, and he got to find a way to be that dynamic playmaking player for this Kansas team.
Can you pinpoint the reason, Fozzie?
Well, the inaccuracy in the passing game is one, but being able to utilize his legs, he got to be more efficient and effective there as that ball sails there. They need a spark offensively that's beside Devin Neal and Daniel Highshaw, because you can only do so much running the ball. At some point in time, somebody else got to step up in a big way.
But also, it's costing all this Andy Kolicki in Happy Valley.
Yes.
So this is the first time that Lance Leipold, in more than a decade, has had to hire a coordinator.
Yep.
Because Kolicki was with him, Borland has been with him seemingly forever, and the first coordinator hire he's had to make at the Division I level. Now, Jeff Grimes definitely has the pedigree. He's been a finalist in 2 straight years for the Broyles Award, as that is Jared Casey. Still chugging away to the 50-yard line. Given the top offensive coordinator, or coordinator period, in college football, with a new group, new system for him.
Yeah, and this is what I was talking about with what we need to see more of from Jalen Daniels. Throws the ball to Jared Casey right outside the hands of Johnny Hodges. Big first down completion for Kansas.
Daniels looking for Neal. Check down, got to get out of bounds, and wisely does to stop the clock with 1:13 left. No timeouts remaining for Kansas.
This is where you still want to see your team fight. Try to make it a game any way possible.
Yeah.
You can get a quick score. We've seen crazier things happen at the end of games. I mean, you look last night, Miami, Virginia Tech, a lot of people probably thought that game was over with. It came down to the very last play.
See how far back TCU drops in coverage. It's one deep safety. And they've got underneath wide open, and you got to get out of bounds here. I mean, Fozzie, if you catch that, you got a beeline straight to the sideline, do you not?
Yeah, that's the first thing you have to do. We saw Jared Casey get a big gain, and he ends up trying to stay in bounds. He eventually gets out of bounds. They got to know the situation better.
Was able to pick up the first down. Daniels is hit hard. Oh, no! How'd he do it? Come on now. Lamarion James. I only need one hand. And that's how you close it out.
You want to talk about a spectacular play. Oh, my gosh. I couldn't tell if he was the receiver or the defender. Goodness. Jalen Daniels takes a shot, not able to step into the throw in the way that he wants to. Cooks provides the pressure, but Lamarion, young man.
Fozzie, if he's playing in Arrowhead on a Sunday, that's a pick too because he got both feet in. The transfer from Old Dominion with the INT. His first at TCU. Now last year, he became the 7th player in FBS history to return an interception and a fumble for a touchdown in the same game. Did that against Wake Forest. He's going to remember that one.
Big time. You're talking about closing out a game and finding a way to get the job done. Well, we talked about Dory. Just keep swimming, right? You got to have short-term memory from the iron skillet a week ago. And although Hoover in this offense had 3 turnovers, they were able to overcome that in dramatic fashion, get a turnover of their own, then seal the game for a huge victory in Big 12 play.
I mean, it's just big plays, big moments. Richardson, Hoover, McAllister, and James. Even though the game was all but decided, that one-hand pick on the sideline, it goes to highlight that TCU has some guys, and if they can figure this out, who knows what the Horned Frogs can do. There's some frustrations there, understandably so for Lance Leipold. But just 1 week ago, Dykes was the man that was frustrated. Things can change quickly, especially in this conference.
Yeah, absolutely. We've seen the domination that TCU has had since they've entered into the Big 12. Kansas has not necessarily fared very well going against this TCU team. But back to the top, my lapel pin, right? Who's going to find Nemo? Who's going to find a way to get the dub? Well, it looks like Sonny Dykes and the rest of the Horned Frogs figured out a way to get it done.
So the Jayhawks come up short yet again. 4 straight losses now. Time for them to regroup. As for TCU, they got the bounce back win they were looking for and could have a dude to lead them at quarterback. Hoover wasn't perfect, but he balled out when he needed to the most. 38-27, TCU wins.
Target Circle Week, 1 week.
Sunday the 6th.
Target
Big deal.
Circle
Sunday
Week,
the
1
6th.
week.
Big
Ow.
deal.
It's Target Circle Week.
Get ready for 7 days of big deals.
That's right, Penn. What a big week.
Huge week. Starting October 6th.
Whatever you're into, Mercedes-Benz has an SUV for you. City Shopping Spree You.